Shake it up. 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 Shake it up.
Viewers, thank you for joining Shaking Up with Shaikh and tuning into the Change Show. We are happy to have our second show with our distinguished guest. Today we have with us Mr. Ben Tartaglia. Mr. Ben Tartaglia is selectman in Shrewsbury, and he is a social servant. He has 30-plus experience, well, 30-plus years experience. However, he's only 25-year-old. But he has 30-plus years of experience in productivity enhancement and disaster recovery. Now, our second guest is Victoria DePaul, and Victoria is a personal consultant for leadership development, and she is really a change agent.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for joining me for the Change Show.
And I'd like to add that I'm only 22 years old.
Yes, all right, and I'm just born. So that makes us 100-plus years experience in this room.
Absolutely.
Now, viewers, today our topic is a bit unique. We thought that we take this opportunity to explain you why we started this show. What is the vision behind this show? So we first need to understand change is as important to success as food is to life. There is no life if there is no food. Now, there is no change if you don't need to succeed. If you need to succeed, then you need to change, because everything around you is changing. If you don't change, or if you don't adapt to the change, then you have the inertia, and hence you will die. And you see, when we were kids, we adopt the change quickly, we succeed quickly, we grow quickly. But as we grow up and we get older, we tend to accept the change slowly, so our growth slows down, and then it comes a time when we stop changing and we go down to the earth, and that's when we don't exist. So change is essential for the existence of mankind. So that's really the purpose of change. Now, change is also important in our cities, towns, state, federal, international, global level, because only with the change we can assure that we are dynamic and we're continuously making progress. Now, if we want to continuously grow and continuously improve, we will continuously accepting and embracing the positive change. Now, whether it is at our personal level, our community level, our town level, state level, federal level, or in the international arena. So that said, we have started this show to interact with our viewers and give them various different perspectives from specialists like you, as well as from politicians, from educators, from health specialists, from government officials, to come on the show and give us their perspective that what need to change for us to continuously grow. So today's show is dedicated on explaining the purpose of the show and what we want to change around us. So I want to thank both of our guests. Victoria, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Ben, thank you for the last minute and showing up with the Shake It Up. You're going to shake us up today. So today, even though you are my guest, but in reality, I thought due to the vast experience you guys have and the very little age you guys have, I may just let you run the show and I might answer your questions. So Ben, I know you have been asking me that what is the purpose of the show, so I thought I'd bring you at the show and let you ask all of your questions at the show.
All right. I'm on first. Okay. There's a lot of shows on the air. What makes this show unique, and who are your viewing audience? Who are you targeting this show towards?
Ben, thank you for asking that question. There is no doubt that there are lots of shows, and there are lots of TV channels, and there are lots of media outlets where people are bombarded with information and commercials. First of all, the uniqueness of this show is there is no commercial. And secondly, there is no money involved. Everybody is coming on the show for the sake of productivity, for the sake of community, for the sake of helping each other and sharing the views. And that's really the unique and nice thing about our public access channels. These channels depend on you, on the public. And since they depend on public and they run with the public fund, they do not need any infomercial, they do not need any special interest, and they provide the real view of people without really editing it. Okay. So the purpose of this show is to basically create a dialogue and create an environment for the dialogue which really let people communicate openly without really having any special interest and giving people real information without having any editing done. Okay. So that basically is the basic purpose of the show. And secondly, there are a lot of people who don't even have access to the paid TV. So that's another reason we started this show. And the other thing is, any change to occur, it's very, very important that people have a clear communication line. They have a very good access to what's going on around them. So this is very important that we have an open dialogue, and that's the purpose of the show, that we created open dialogue environment where people are coming in from various aspects of life, and they share their ideas, and we present the ideas to the people and let them make their own opinion. Victoria, I know you had concern about, you have been talking about change, you have been developing people on change leadership, and you actually develop leaders. You have a lot of experience. So I know you had concern about what is, what are we going to do in developing leaders?
Exactly, and when you first approached the subject to me, what came to mind was the quote that we're all familiar with, the only constant in life is change, and you summed that up beautifully in your introduction. What I would want you to elaborate on are what are the key characteristics of a positive change agent?
Well, Ben was with me last night at the WPI. We did a seminar on that. There's actually a book I'm writing, which is 10 qualities of highly successful change leaders. Now, there are a lot of change leaders, but you got to really see, who are the successful change leaders and what characteristics do they really possess. And then you need to build a model and a filter and then see who really passed that filter. So then you follow that leader. So I actually, I made an effort to build that filter, and then I'm hoping to write a book on that so people can, benefit from it and use this as a cheat sheet to basically, put their, use that filter, and then they can see who passed the filter and who don't. Basically, there are, in my humble opinion, there are 10 main qualities which one should possess to be a positive change agent. Now, would you like me to elaborate on that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So basically, those qualities, the very first one is a vision. There is no way anybody could bring a positive change in the environment unless and until the leader who is presenting the change can see far away in the future that what needs to be done. Why do we first of all need a change? We got to understand that change needs to occur if there is a difference of opinion, or if there is, if there is something need to be changed. We don't really do a change without a purpose. Right. So we need to, for example, change our healthcare system because we see something bad is out there. So a person who would really want to change the healthcare system, number one, that person will understand what the problems are, and then that person will actually envision, what could be the opportunities.
Right. So the vision then becomes a roadmap, if you will, to where you want to go. Exactly,
and that's what vision is. Vision is that you see what other people don't see. Now, the quality of a leader is not just to see, but also make other people see it. Because that's the real quality.
Right.
There are a lot of people who claim that I see this.
Right.
Understand you see it.
Yes.
But can you make other people see
Exactly.
it? And that's where
Yeah.
a lot of people fail.
And I would, if I could, just point out that that's where a lot of businesses fail, in the inability to communicate the vision to the entire organization. It's one thing for the leaders at the top to understand the vision, but it has to be communicated to everyone in that organization.
Absolutely. And that really is a big failure in businesses or in the governments, that they see it, but then they cannot propagate that change because they have inability to communicate that vision that they have to the other people. So it's very important that you make your folks, your people, your team believe in the vision. Now, if that team is all, communicated well, then they are very united and very motivated team. So the second thing is, after having vision, that you must really, create a mission out of that vision. Now, vision really depends on 5 sub-qualities. That's what vision is enhanced or decreased. So there are 5 things which can increase the vision or decrease the vision. So the first one is knowledge. Reading, knowledge. Knowledge always increases vision. That makes you see better. Then the second thing is wisdom. If you use wisdom, that increases your wisdom, your vision. The third thing is your experience. Experience make you see it farther, okay? And then the fourth thing is guidance. You have to have somebody's guidance. Now, if you have a guidance, that increases your experience, that increases your wisdom, that increases your vision. And then, last but not least, you have to really believe in what you're doing. Because if you don't really believe in what you're doing, then there is no way that you are going to be able to execute it. So you have to have a firm belief that you are going to make this change. That, on the other hand, is called also determination. Okay? Now, if Jesus did not believe that I'm going to be able to bring this change, there was no way he was going to execute that change.
Right.
Or if any prophet or historian or any successful leader who has succeeded, there is no way that that person is going to succeed if there was no vision and there is no belief on that change. Now, I actually have a mathematical model for the success. Now, you can define success in 100 different ways, but I believe success is directly proportional to facts, facts on ground. Facts mean F-A-C-T-S. And then it's directly proportional to patience, but inversely proportional to doubts. Now, F stands for faith, A stands for action, C stands for courage, T stands for team, and S stands for systems. Now, faith will make you see it, action will make you do it, okay? C will make you have a courage and stand against all the obstacles. T will make you build a team, the right team, and then S will make you sustain it. Now, now you can do all that, and you're not going to still succeed if you don't have patience. Now, if you have patience, and you're doing all that, but the moment you start doubting in your ability or in your plan, that's it, you're gone. So that's the reason success is directly proportional to facts, and it's inversely proportional to doubts, and it's directly proportional to patience. So that really is the first step of a successful leader, a person having a vision, and then person building mission based on that vision, okay?
You know what's really profound is twice you've mentioned believe. You've also made reference to doubt, and often the leadership will have the vision, and sometimes they're even successful in communicating that vision. However, without that energy of belief and that sense of, yes, we can create this change, it falls apart. So it's equally important to not only have that vision, to communicate that vision, but also instill that ability to create a belief and desire for that change.
Thank
you for pointing that out.
Vision is very interesting because in an organization, the leader may have a vision, for example, to produce a great product, make a profit, and employ people. The salesperson has a different vision. Their vision is, they take that vision, they say, well, I got to make sales. Manufacturing person sees it as a manufacturing and a quality improvement process. So I think the job of leadership is to take that vision that they have and put it, sell that vision to each person in the organization, so that they're, even though they're working towards a different goal in their mind, they're all working towards the overall vision of the leader. I think that's very important.
Yes.
It's like one of the generals said, you lead an army one soldier at a time.
Right.
You don't lead an army.
Sure.
Right, exactly.
In that way, too, you're also encouraging each participant in the organization to create their own subvision, if you will.
That's right.
Of how do I contribute to the overall vision of the organization.
And that's always been the problem, because as soon as you put in a vision that they can't relate to, it doesn't work. The system
Exactly.
doesn't work.
So this vision really has to become not just your vision, but it has to be vision of the whole company. And the vision of the whole company can become if really leader can make other people see it. It's a leadership's job to make other people see it. Because a lot of time, I was just giving an example at WPI yesterday, that, you know, if you ask Ben, don't go that way, you're going to get mugged. Because you have an experience that you got mugged there. But he might not believe you. He said, no, this is the shortest way, I'm going to go that way. But you seeing something Ben is not seeing. Now it is, when he get mugged, I think it is his fault, but at the same token, it's your fault too.
I'm sure
because
it's his fault.
you didn't really, you did not make him believe. Now that is really a leadership quality, to make other people believe what you see.
There's a lot of people who want me to get mugged.
Right. But we want to make sure you don't get mugged.
Right.
So that's the reason we want to make sure that we benefit from each other's vision. And we benefit from each other's belief. We benefit from each other's actions. We benefit from each other's experience. We benefit from each other's knowledge. We benefit from each other's wisdom. So this is what really make us successful of, of achieving those goals. Now, the other thing is that it's very important that one build a mission around this vision. Now, mission depends on your strengths and your limitations. If you build a mission that you're gonna really change the whole world, and if you don't really have the means to even change, your house, there's no way that you're gonna change the whole world. So I think one really need to understand the strengths and limitations. Okay. Now it's very important that we think big, but we act small. Actually, Jason Jennings wrote a very nice book. He said, think big, act small. If you really think big and try to act big too, I think that really doesn't work. You gotta really have a very long-term vision, long-term goal, but you gotta have a small execution. That's the reason I firmly believe in KPIs, key performance indicators. If you folks are trying to build any vision for yourself, and you're trying to build a mission, and you wanna have a sound plan, that is perfectly fine. But you may want to really have a long-term vision of 20 years, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, that you will be such and such 10 years from now. But you must also have quarterly measurement, performance measurement, key performance indicators that, all right, well, I'm going to buy a house in 5 years. All right, but that means I have to save $25,000 a quarter. I'm just giving an example, depending on how big of a house you're going to buy. But if you are not going to be able to save that amount, then it means you are lagging behind. And if you are lagging behind, you better adjust your goal. So the benefit of long-term vision is that you are dreaming, you're thinking, and dreams come true. But you should continue dreaming. But dreams only can make you do nothing but sleep. But it's very important that you dream, but at the same token, you build a practical plan and short-term execution indicators, which shows you whether you are making progress or whether you are not making progress.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You have to fuel that dream.
Right.
There's a overriding theory in here of cooperation. And I learned a long time ago, you can have a group cooperating And that sounds really good. But when you have a group cooperating towards your vision, the first time one of those individuals sees they're going to lose something, your cooperation evaporates.
Right.
And so you have to keep feeding that vision and providing that guidance so everybody knows where they're going to achieve their goals.
Right. Right. And another characteristic I want to mention is that it's important that you have a vision. It's important that you have a mission. It's important that you build a sound plan. You have a long-term vision, and you build short-term execution plan and KPIs, key performance indicators. But another very important characteristic of change leaders is that leaders are focused on challenge, not on the opportunity. Now you might say that's amazing, that you're asking us to focus on problem, not on opportunity. Yes, because when you are focused on problem, you're hard on problem, soft on people. You are trying to look for what's the root cause, and you are trying to eliminate the root cause. Opportunity is a byproduct. You will automatically get the opportunity. Opportunity is the byproduct. So it's very important that one is focused on challenge. Now, people who focus on challenge, they turn challenge into opportunity. But people who are focused on, focus on just opportunities, they jump to the conclusion, and they could actually turn the opportunity into a challenge. I'll give you a quick example that if you are a if you are a leader of change, now all the affiliations aside, I believe that we had a lot of opportunity when Mr. Bush took office. And I know, Ben, you may disagree with me. When Mr. Bush took an office, he had a lot of opportunity to lead the whole world, because we really lead the whole world, and to lead the the Central Asia and of course domestic issues. But instead of that, he decided that he is going to do certain things, and those certain things, those actions have actually created this land of opportunity, a challenge. Now, on the other hand, if you take a look at example of Senator Obama, now whether you like him or not, that's aside, but you have to really look at certain characteristics he has, and because of that, he certainly have made some change in him and around him, and look at where he come from, and look where he is today. It's amazing, and I think it is amazing, and we should salute this country, because that is probably possible only in America. But on the other hand, it's also amazing that he had a focus, and he has a focus on the problem, and he turned that challenge into opportunity, at least for him now. Now, that might be helpful for the whole country.
Great.
But that's very, very important that if you are a leader of change, you always see glass half full.
Right.
If you are a leader of if you're not a leader of change, you always see glass half empty.
Great.
So leader of change turn challenge into opportunity by focusing on the challenge. They don't shy from the challenge. They don't run away from the challenge. And if you want to be a leader of change, well, rest assured, obstacles are going to come. Okay?
Right.
Obstacles are going to come, but don't run away.
But you always have the opportunity as to how you view that obstacle.
Right.
And those, if I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it, is we have the opportunity to take a look at those challenges and obstacles from a positive perspective or a negative perspective. And whether or not those obstacles increase and become bigger obstacles really is dependent upon your perspective on whether or not you see these as obstacles or opportunity.
Right. So I'm going to give you a quick example. There was a saint who basically was walking. It was actually a female saint who was walking in the street, and I forgot her name, but she actually got stuck by a pebble, and she hurt herself, and she started laughing instead of crying. Now she got so hurt that she was bleeding, but people around her said, "You are crazy. You're laughing. You got hit by a pebble." And she said, "I'm laughing that I'm glad I got hit and all of other people are saved." And I know I probably, and that was a saint, and she also thought of spiritual perspective, that I know every single time I have any obstacle, I have any calamity, I'm going to get more rewards and my sins are going to be washed. So she was happy that her sins are washed and other people are saved. Now look at the perspective. This is all about perspective. Now I know we are getting to the end of our show, and I will like to sum it up in this way, that change leaders have 7 P's in their personality. So the first P is that they are always prepared. They are prepared that if the obstacle come, we are going to embrace them, we're going to smile, we're going to laugh, and we are going to turn those challenges into opportunities. Their second P is that they are very practical in nature. They don't believe in, oh, we're going to change everything tomorrow morning. They believe in that they are going to be very practical. The change is going to require certain steps. The change is going to require certain things. So we are going to be very patient, and we are going to have a sound plan, and we are going to do a systematic approach. So they believe in more evolution than revolution. Okay, because that's more sustainable change. They understand and embrace the system constraints, and then they change the system constraints. Okay. The third one is they are very passionate about it. They're very passionate about it. So they basically, have a passion of change. Now, they say that if you put sun on my one hand and if you put moon on my other hand, I'm going to not forget about my message of change. I'm going to take this change. And that's the reason people even throw them in hellfire. People throw them in the fire. People throw them, almost want to kill them. People throw pebbles on them, but they smile. And what happens? People who thrown pebbles on them, people who threw them in fire, those are not the people who are remembered in this word, but people who were the leaders of change. They're the one whose name are still alive. So the fourth P is that they have very dynamic personality. They're dynamic personality, and then they're very persuasive. They're very persistent. And last but not least, they're very, very patient. And now, viewers, if you want to really bring change in you, and if you want to bring change around you, make sure that we use this filter and we learn from these 7 P's, and we build these 7 P's in ourselves. So we will end at this quotation that everything around us is changing, and change is life. If we want to grow faster, we have to change faster. And let's change with 7 P's. Thank you. Continue shaking up with Shaikh.